And to continue to just talk about your amazing leadership, you've also earned multiple Best Places to Work awards. How much of that is intentional design versus actually the emergent culture?
So we are employee owned. I don't think we talked about that yet. So it's really unique where I'm not the owner. I lead the owners, and all of the employees have a stake in the company. So
Mm,
I think that just in itself creates for a culture where the hard work you're putting in comes back to
yeah.
them at the end of the day. And that culture, while we've been in ESOP for since 2018, I don't know that people were bought in because they weren't necessarily part of the decision making. They weren't necessarily asked to give their feedback. They didn't really know how
Mm,
the business operated. So when you're told you're an owner, think like an owner, act like an owner, it doesn't really go somewhere. So really making it a part of everything we do to involve them, to share with them.
love that.
I think has really helped that culture, and then just constantly trying to do better. There's always room to do better, and paired with that ESOP, the employee ownership, it's a retirement plan. You know, we have a 401k, so it's a second retirement plan where over time your share values grow and grow as the company grows. And I think a lot of our newer generation of employees, life's expensive. We're working in LA, so cost of
Yep.
living is high, and I think a lot of people are like, "Yeah, that sounds great, but if they offer me another dollar or two down the street, I might take that because I need that now." So I kept racking my brain on what can we do to really get this culture of ownership from the beginning with all types of employees, regardless of age or where they're at in life, which brought me to start open book management. And that was just like the perfect complement to the employee ownership
Mm,
because it's giving employees all the information about the business besides for everyone's salaries, but they really they're privy to what revenue we're bringing in, what we're spending, down to the bottom line, so that, and we're reviewing it every month so they know what's working, what's not working. If we're trying to put changes into place, how is that impacting us? We could see that impact over time, so they learn to understand the business more and become a part of it. And then they get a stake in the outcome where if we exceed budget, money goes back to
yeah.
them immediately in bonuses. So um, I think that's just kind of tied the two together, where there's these short-term goals of we're trying to constantly do better in the short term, and then ultimately long-term with increasing that share value over time.
I love that. I mean, I can see why you guys are the place to go work at for sure. I mean, you really care about the people, definitely past some of the things that you're mentioning. If we can kind of talk about to our therapists and clinicians that are wanting to step into leadership, because you mentioned about hiring from within, what first move should they make as clinicians and therapists that want to move in and move up in a business like this?
I think being that role model and really,
Mm,
I think the clinicians that are open to answering, I know your schedules are busy, but if you make the time to mentor others, support others, all of a sudden your schedule kind of expands, and I found that throughout the way. There's never enough time in the day, but somehow when you make the time intentionally, all of a sudden you kind of have it to work
yeah.
on what's important. um, and just, like I said, asking questions, checking in with people. Don't forget the small talk, and realize that people are people first, they're employees after. We always say family and health come first. I can't tell you how many things are going on in people's lives behind the scenes that they're not talking about, and sometimes it's perceived as, oh man, they're in a mood or they're having a bad day, but they really are having a bad day and maybe they're just not sharing it with you. So we always say come with empathy, dignity, always treat everyone as if something's going on, because maybe something is going on. And I think that
Yeah.
just has, as a leader, I think when you have that empathy, it's really met back with that loyalty and devotion that people want to stay with you because they know you care.
Empathy needs to be used not even just workspaces, just in everyday life, right? People just don't have that. I don't know why, but yeah, having empathy, treating people, everyone the same at the end of the day, right? No matter at what level you're at, that all goes a long way because you just never know when you're going to be to be working for that same person that maybe one day was working under you. And I've seen
Exactly.
that plenty of times. I can imagine, Rena, you've seen that plenty of times. It is just going and doing the thing that you love, having, not forgetting your why. People have
Right.
got into these roles for a reason,
Yeah.
right? Because they had this passion and this purpose. So I also believe is remembering what the why is. Because as you mentioned, we all have bad days. But when you go to work and you remember the why, it changes the perspective that we have for that day and the way that we're going to be treating somebody. So I love that you incorporate all these different things. And on top of all this, you're a mom of four. Like, you talk about time. How do you balance your time? Is it
Oh
a
my
calendar
God,
that you
every
have? Do
day.
you have an assistant? Like, what does that
I
look
don't
like?
know that there is a such thing as balance because there's always this like work-life balance. Sometimes work is taking over, sometimes home is taking over. It's fluid. I think people just need to go easier on themselves and realize
Hmm.
that there are going to be harder times than others. I think my kids now look at me. At first, I had like so much mom guilt. I always try to make it to everything, so that's not the
Yeah.
issue. But just like coming home late or um, maybe on their vacations not spending as much time with them as maybe some of the other moms do. But I think they're seeing hard work in action. And just like I saw with my parents, they're seeing me coming home and knowing that I'm making a difference. And if I could teach my kids anything in life, it's, do something with purpose, even if they, whether they're working or not, just making sure that they're making the world a better
Yeah.
place. And I think um, I'm proud to kind of be that model for them.
I
And
love that. I love
I
that.
don't know about the time. I didn't even answer your question, but I don't think
I
there's
got
enough
it through
time
it
in the
all.
day
No
to do
worries.
anything. But we make it happen. We make it work.